They will dig up your past, they will twist every word you've ever said, and they will lie. And you're going to be hurting, saying, how could this person that I loved and trusted lie in front of the court and try to hurt me? They can because they're mentally ill. Okay, understand that. Imagine this, you're in a courtroom and the person falsely accusing you of a crime is sobbing uncontrollably one moment and raging the next. Their story is so full of inconsistencies, but the jury is hanging on to every tear they shed. If you don't know how to counter this, then you're going to lose your case, whether it's a criminal case, a child custody case, and whether or not the person is lying about you. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to deal with these types of witnesses. So today I'm going to break down the most dangerous and toxic types of borderline personality disorder, or BPD for short. These are the ones that are most likely to make a false allegation of abuse, sexual assault, or domestic violence. As a heads up, I'm a criminal defense lawyer and I'm not a therapist. This is not a therapy session. This is a video about how to protect yourself legally, spot the red flags, and fight back when your life, children's lives, and your reputation is on the line. Now I want to make this clear. Not every person with BPD is out to destroy you, but the ones who are they will try to destroy your life. Now, the two most dangerous subtypes of BPD in the legal arena, from my years of experience, are, number one, the malignant borderline. That's basically a borderline that's narcissistic, that's sociopathic, all wrapped into a ball of craziness and dangerousness. Now, these individuals weaponize the legal system all the time. It happens across the country and around the world. Their objective is to destroy their targets, period. These folks are calculating, they're manipulative, and they're vindictive. They're not just emotionally unstable or someone who needs help. These are dangerous people. Now, when you're dealing with these malignant borderlines, you should expect false allegations of sexual assault. You should expect false allegations of domestic violence, and even false allegations of child abuse or child sexual abuse. Whatever it takes to paint themselves as a victim and to take you down, they will do it. I've seen it over the course of my 24-year career. Now, these folks switch personas. They're charming in public, but behind closed doors, they thrive on chaos, control, and they're very difficult to deal with. And the worst part is this: they have no remorse about ruining lives. In fact, many of them enjoy it. They relish in destroying lives. Now, the other type of borderline that you need to worry about that is often behind false allegations is the high conflict borderline. We call these the perpetual victim. With them, every disagreement is a declaration of war. They're up and down, up and down. They're extremely emotional. They have these extreme emotional, often violent outbursts. One minute they love you, they want to be with you. The next minute they're filing restraining order, and then a week later or even 10 minutes later, they're in love again, and they don't understand how the police could have arrested such a great man that they love so much. Even if they're the one who called the police after threatening you with a false allegation and made good on that threat, they just won't understand how the police could have overreacted and arrested you and put you in jail based on their hysterical false allegations. These types generally have a history of legal battles. This is a red flag, people. If they've accused others before, or their exes are all abusers, then you are next in line. Believe me when I tell you this. You're next in line. This type also uses children as weapons in custody battles. Very common in child custody cases, because a lot of people that have this problem, they can't just have an uncontested divorce. They have to make it a 4-year knockdown, drag out case where they're often accusing their partner of abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and abusing the kids. It is very common. But here's the problem. They will lie their butts off on the stand. Their ability to cry on command makes them jury friendly. They know how to play the innocent, suffering victim. That's probably how they entrapped you in this relationship to begin with. Now, these people put Meryl Streep to shame when it comes to acting. They can cry better than any actress on the stage. So here's what you need to look out for before you get dragged into a legal battle with one of these BPD types. 1, history of allegation. So many of my clients come to me and say, but she was abused in the past by her ex-boyfriend or ex-husband, by her stepfather, and they list all these people that abused her. And I say to them, well, now she's saying that you abused her. How do you know that those other people actually abused her? You don't. But if someone is constantly saying their exes, their former boyfriends abuse them, the pattern will continue. And a lot of those allegations I find are false or exaggerated. The other thing you need to watch out for is rapid relationship escalation. They love bomb hard. They're rushing into commitment, and you should be rushing for the door. They also tell inconsistent stories or tend to exaggerate. These folks rewrite history based on what benefits them. So look for the red flag. Another thing you need to watch out for is emotional extremes. If they go from idolizing you or their past partner to hating you overnight, prepare for war, because you will be dragged into one, and they are experts at destroying people. The other thing you need to look out for is legal system manipulation. If you get involved with them and they have all these other past cases against their exes, and if they lost those cases, particularly, like if they lost custody of the kids and they are a female, that is a red flag. If they have two past husbands and both of the exes got custody of their children and they have limited custody or visitation, red flag. Doesn't mean that there's something there, but it's a big red flag. These types will file restraining orders. They will lie in statements to the police and the prosecutors. They call the cops for minor disputes or arguments or because you hurt their feelings. And guess what? Guess who's going to get taken to jail? You. And they also lie about threats or violence to gain the upper hand. The other thing they like to do is record you after they provoked a fight, usually at the very end of the fight when you finally explode because you're fed up. They keep those things like a little treasure trove to use them against you. These are all red flags. If you find yourself in a battle against one of these BPD subtypes, here's how you fight back. You have to document everything, and I mean everything. Every text, email, voicemail, social media interactions. These are things that can be used as evidence. If you are in a fight with them on the phone, tell them, I'm going to record what's going on here because you're threatening and abusing me, and record it. Talk to a lawyer and make sure you follow the law in your jurisdiction on recording, by the way. Keep records of threats, contradictions, and manipulations. Keep a solid witness list. Although they're going to turn people against you as this battle escalates, keep a solid list of witnesses that's contact information, emails, and so forth with people that can vouch for you should this end up in a contested case. Now, if you're in a child custody battle, you need to track false allegations, exaggerations, and parenting behavior. There are plenty of apps out there for this. And again, reach out to a lawyer in your community that's local to you that knows what they're doing if you're in one of these situations. One of the things you should not do, never, ever engage in emotional warfare. You will lose. These people are emotional manipulators. They're out of control. They're dangerous, and they will beat you at their own game. Okay, so walk away, shut your mouth, de-escalate, never lay hands on someone. But in one of these emotional situations, even if they hit you or touch you, get out of there, document it, and talk to a lawyer about filing charges or using that assault against them. But you got to be careful because they often will flip that on you and say, no, he assaulted me or she assaulted me first, I'm the victim. They're always the victim. Avoid these victims. Trust me, and you're going to have a happier life. With emotional warfare, they want emotional reactions. That's what they thrive on. Don't give them one. Gray rock them. Be boring, unemotional, unpredictable. Basically ghost them if you can. And also never send angry texts or voicemails or drunk texting or drunk calling. It will be, I assure you, used against you as Exhibit A in your case. How to hire a lawyer who understands cluster B personalities. Not every lawyer even understands what a cluster B or a narcissist or a BPD is. When you shop around for a lawyer, make sure they know what they're talking about. Your lawyer, the one you hire, needs to understand these types of psychological specimen. They also have to know how to expose them and impeach them in court. The average everyday lawyer is often not good enough when dealing with one of these BPD types. The lawyer must know how to cross-examine properly and turn the jury against the lying BPD. The lawyer must also know how to expose their patterns of behavior by effectively bringing up previous allegations and credibility issues. So they have to know the rules of evidence, procedures, and the tactics and strategies to expose these types. Again, look for a lawyer in your community. Another thing you can do is request a mental health evaluation. Courts may require psychiatric assessments, especially if it's like a child custody case. If done properly, it can possibly reveal their disorder. This is especially important in family law and child custody cases where they're manipulating children. Again, talk to a lawyer in your community. The laws vary across the country and around the world. Another thing you have to be prepared for is character assassination. They will dig up your past, they will twist every word you've ever said, and they will lie. And you're going to be hurting, saying, how could this person that I loved and trusted lie in front of the court and try to hurt me? They can because they're mentally ill. Okay, understand that. If they're BPD, they're mentally ill. It's a mental disease. It is a mental defect. Yes, they often can't control it, but that does not mean that they're not dangerous and they cannot be taken lightly. You have to stay ahead of their narrative. You have to anticipate their moves and have evidence, documents, texts, videos, whatever, witnesses, to counter them, prove them wrong, and expose them. Now, how do you cross-examine a malignant or high conflict borderline? In a courtroom, you need to disarm their manipulation and expose their deception. Here are a couple quick tips. Control the tempo. They thrive on chaos and emotional outbursts. Keep your questions tight. One new fact per question. Unemotional. Never take the bait. Just be cool, calm, and very polite and professional. They hate that. They want you to be angry and fighting with them, and they thrive on conflict and emotional outbursts. The other thing you can do, which is devastating, is expose their contradictions and lies. If they lied in a deposition or on a restraining order or on anything, have those documents ready to go, catch them slipping up on the stand, pin them down, and destroy their credibility. The other thing you need to do is be prepared to use their own words against them. Keep text messages, prior statements, whatever you have, and force them, using a skilled lawyer, to explain their contradictions and box them in and again, destroy their credibility. Let them rage. I love it when they rage. Your lawyer needs to be cool, calm, and collective, and so do you. If they snap, lose control, refuse to answer questions, get aggressive or emotional, out of control in front of the jury, that's great for you and your case. Especially in a judge alone case. Judges are generally pretty smart on dealing with these types of folks. Juries maybe not so much. Lastly, don't get pulled into their sympathy and emotion. They will cry, I guarantee it, particularly on direct examination. On cross, they often get just very hostile. But keep the jury focused on the facts, not on feelings, not on emotion, and warn them up front. Your lawyer should warn them up front. They're going to try to pull you into an emotional battle. You must focus on the facts and on the evidence, not on emotion. So to sum up, if you're up against a malignant or high conflict borderline, you need to do the following. Recognize the warning signs early on. Don't turn a blind eye because you're desperate or you're in love or you're just looking for someone to be with. They will take advantage of that. 2, document everything, and I mean everything. 3, stay unemotional. Don't take the bait. Don't give them ammunition to use against you, or they will use it with deadly proficiency. Get a lawyer who knows how to handle cluster B personalities and how to cross-examine them and expose them. You get an amateur in there or someone who doesn't know what they're doing, they're going to walk right into the ambush and get destroyed by the BPD. The last thing you need to do is be prepared, gather the evidence for your attorney to be able to expose the contradictions, the lies, and the inconsistencies in their stories and accusations. If you don't, they will drag you through hell. This is about survival. This is about beating them at their own game. Now, if you're in the middle of a false allegation or custody battle case against the borderline, get serious. They do things that you can't explain, that are not reasonable. Just accept it. Do your homework. But you have to be aggressive, you have to be tactical, and you have to get a lawyer who knows how to fight back. That's all for today. If you found this valuable, please subscribe for more hard-hitting legal insights.